Welcome to join our presentation for today. Today we are trying to share with you about the opportunity in Great Phoenix. So today we invited Lisa and Chris come to join this presentation. So Lisa and Chris, please, right now is the show time.
好，大家好，我叫 Lisa 刘 Richie。今天呢，我和我的同事和伙伴 Chris Minchak 给大家讲一讲大凤凰城地区商业地产租赁的情况。那我做房地产已经有10多年了，在商业和住宅方面都有很多经验。在这之前，我在美国的大公司做管理工作，并持有芝加哥商业MBA 的学位。Chris 呢，在商业地产之前呢是做工程师的，他的爸爸在这个领域工作了40多年，所以他跟随爸爸的步伐也来做商业地产，是我们公司商业地产的专家。那我会跟大家呢讲一下前半部分，后半部分呢由 Chris 来讲，希望今天的讲座给大家带来收益。首先呢，我想给大家介绍一下台积电在凤凰城的情况。可能很多人已经知道，台积电投资了12个 billion 在凤凰城建立工厂。这个工厂呢占地1129英亩，地理位置呢在北边的17号公路和303公路的交界处。计划是2024年正式开始运转。那现在呢公司呢正在进行培训和一些继续呢雇佣更多的员工，大概有500多人呢现在在台湾呢进行培训。这些人呢陆陆续续的年底呢和明年初呢就要回到美国。到明年年底呢大概还会雇佣更多的人，估计会2000人左右。那随着台积电的到来呢，我们这边呢还有其他的公司呢也会慢慢的过来，尤其是一些供销商。那现在呢已经有一些在这边了，包括 Sunlit Chemical、Taiwan Purity Corporation、Rincam Corporation、Kokusa Semiconductor Equipment Corporation。那还有一些呢将会过来。这张图片呢是我前几天去照的，它已经看出来了，架子呢基本上搭的差不多了。这张图片呢显示了台积电建好以后的情况会是怎么样。另一张呢是一个中的 photo。接下来呢我想给大家看一个短片。这个短片呢是我们凤凰城市长呢对凤凰城的介绍，强调了我们这个城市非常注视科技和那个 innovation。Kate 呢他本身呢是哈佛大学商学院毕业的，对这个商业管理方面呢非常有经验。
Hello, I'm Phoenix Mayor Kate Gallego. Right now, amazing things are happening in Phoenix, Arizona. We're experiencing tremendous growth, both with our economy and our reputation. Quality of life has always been a big draw, but it's more than that. It's our long-term commitment to growing a strong, diverse economy. It's the spirit of collaboration between business, education, and community partners. It's our support of entrepreneurial ecosystems. It's life-changing innovations. It's all this and so much more that I'm excited to share with you about our city. As you're about to see, Phoenix is the new land of opportunity. I invite you to join us.
Welcome to Phoenix, Arizona. This desert is flourishing, probably more than you ever imagined. Fact is, Phoenix is the 5th largest city in the nation and for years has been attracting more people than anywhere else. At the same time, we've been attracting business and creating our own. Since 2019, bioscience and healthcare growth has added millions of square feet of biomedical space, billions in capital investments, and more than 8,000 new jobs. So what makes Phoenix so attractive to so many? It's a convergence of qualities that can be summed up in 2 words: innovation and exhilaration. It's what you get when you combine a culture of innovation with an exciting, exhilarating lifestyle. Innovation and exhilaration, it's what feeds our growth today, and it will continue to feed it into the future. Phoenix Phoenix has a long history of innovation, from our canal system, which was built more than 2,000 years ago and brought back to life by early pioneers, to the great names that are making a significant impact today. Phoenix continues to attract the finest minds in therapeutics, in research hospitals, and in universities with research. Phoenix is also home to some of the finest names in semiconductors, aerospace, biomanufacturing, financial services, and software as well as cybersecurity.
好的，这个短片呢，给大家做了一个综合的概况。大家听到了，我们这个地方也是一个 semiconductor 的 hub， 因为我们这个凤凰城呢是一个发展迅速的商业市场。很多的租客呢和投资的人呢喜欢来，因为我们这边很多的工作的机会，然后呢人口不断的增长，还有很多的选择性。另外呢，大的公司呢都愿意搬到这边来做 headquarter， 还有一些呢做一些地区性的 headquarter。去年在2021年呢 ，Phoenix 呢是我们美国最大的一个投资商业的地场。总共从那个工业地场来看呢，我们有24个 million 的square feet 正在建。那凤凰城呢，在全美排行呢是第5位，在那个公寓方面呢，有32000个正在建，大多数呢都是离台积电呢不太远的地方。另外呢，我们这边有一些公司，很多都是做 semiconductor 的，举几个例子，这边有 On Semiconductor、Microchip、Intel。NSP Semiconductors， 还有就是 Honeywell 也是在这边。为什么公司喜欢搬到我们这里来呢？主要是呢，我们这边最大的原因呢，就是商业税收呢比较低，我们这边只有 4.9%， 那跟其他地方比呢，全国比呢，从这个图上看呢，是相对来讲比较低的。另外，我们这个地方没有 inventory tax， 很多州都有 inventory tax， 所以呢，在这边做生意呢，相对来讲呢是比较便宜的。再有一点呢，我们这边不强调工会，大概全美呢只有28个州不强调工会，可以自愿选择，在其他好多州呢就是强行的你组织工会，这样对公司也是不利的。另外这边呢交通四通八达，高速机场还有铁轨都很发达。我觉得最好的呢就是我们这边气候比较好，除了夏天2-3个月比较热以外呢，其他的时间呢都非常舒服。而且呢，我们这边没有什么自然灾害，100年也没有什么地震洪水龙卷风之类的。还有一个优势就是呢，这边的州立大学 ASU 根据它的入学学生来看呢，是全美前10名，去年好像还排全美第1名，有很多的人力资源来供大的公司来利用。再加上呢，我们这边的住房比较便宜，生活品质比较好，开销比较小，所以呢，很多人喜欢这个地方。那随着公司的搬过来，如果人力资源不够，那对公司也不是很有利。那这边呢，我们这边的 population growth 怎么样呢？大家可以看到，从2010年到2020年，我们这边的人口增长速度非常快，11.2%的增长率。凤凰城呢，是我们亚利桑那州的州府，它这个人口呢是超过 1.7 个 million，占全州人数的 23.2%。根据人口来讲呢，凤凰城呢在美国是第5大城市，仅次于纽约、洛杉矶、芝加哥和休斯顿。如果算上周边的城市，我们这边的人口呢，基本上将近是5个 million。年纪呢也比较轻，是 37.2， 比全国呢也是蛮轻的。家庭收入呢将近是7万。那人口的增长，公司的搬迁，我们这边的工作机会呢也是蛮多的，因为公司呢不断的往这边搬和扩建。所以呢，工作机会的增长呢，过去呢是6%的年增长率，很多小的公司呢也很喜欢这个地方。我们凤凰城工作机会的增长率是全美第1 ，GDP 呢是超过了281个 billion， 在过去10年是57%的增长率。这样的话呢，我们的失业率就非常低，2021年失业率只有 2.8%。对于高科技公司来讲呢，我们这边增长也是很快的。在2015年到2020年之间，工作机会增长了 24.8%， 总共是15443个 job。 全国的增长率呢只有8.9%。工业包括高级的制造业，还有航天业呀、网络的安全呐、还有运输、生物方面的行业。那这边教育程度也很高，超过32%的人口呢都有大学的学位。刚才呢，我对我们这边凤凰城的市场做了一个总的介绍。接下来呢，请 Chris 呢跟大家讲一讲这个商业租赁的细节。好 ，Chris。
Hello. All right. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go over the most common types of commercial leases we see here in the Phoenix market. That'll be industrial, warehouse, office, medical. We'll go over retail and multifamily. So first and foremost, industrial warehouse is quite honestly the most popular and what we focus on most with leasing. That could be anything from a mom and pop electrician shop that needs to lease out 2,500 square feet. We're dealing with, Amazon, very large distribution, 100, 200,000 plus square feet. So you can see the total inventory throughout the valley of industrial warehouse, 350 million square feet. Now, it all depends on location, size of the building, but average rents, you're looking at 79 cents per square foot. That would be your base price plus your triple nets, which are your taxes, maintenance, insurance, which we'll go over that here in a second. Now, with industrial, you can see how popular it is. There's really only 4% vacancy rate. So you can see out of all these buildings, there's mostly occupied. Absorption in the last quarter of 2021, 15 million square feet were built. So it just goes to show how people are influxing, moving here into the valley. And new construction, we have nearly 30 million square feet under construction. You can see in the bottom right corner, that's actually a lease last year. Lisa and I did in Phoenix, helping out a large distribution company. That was 85,000 square feet. Next, we have your office medical. That could be obviously your standard company coming in a small or large office space, or your medical specialists, doctors, dentists. There's about 92 million square feet total inventory. Asking rates, so that's about $27, $28 per square foot a year, all in gross, full service gross, which we will go over in a second. In other words, that's about $2.50 on average square foot per month. Vacancy rates are relatively low, 23%-ish. A lot of leasing activity last year with large companies, Amazon, Peloton, Maricopa County, to say a few, and a lot of new construction in the works. 1.3 million square feet currently under construction. Some of the key properties that were actually sold for office contributing to this recently: Fountainhead Office Plaza, Rio 2100, Gainey Ranch Corporate Center. Now, retail. Now, the retail sector could be anything from your big box store, Best Buy, you name it, all the way to your mom and pop coffee shop and a retail plaza center, right? So with that, there's around 177 million square feet worth of inventory, quite a bit, obviously. Asking rents, about $15 square foot per year, triple nets, or in other words, $1.25 base per month per square foot. Vacancy rates, you can see very low as well. Plenty built out and leased, 800,000 square feet last quarter of 2022, and plenty of new construction, 500,000 square feet under construction. And some of the large properties that have sold that have also contributed to the retail leasing market are Crossroads Town Center, $50 million that was purchased for, and then Mesa Ranch for $18 million. Now, lastly is your more niche but multifamily. So this would be, helping out large clients needing a place for all their employees, and that would be helping them with a large chunk of, let's say, for example, a portion of an apartment building. So with that being said, total doors or total units, you're looking at 2 million doors throughout the Phoenix market. You know, and new construction going, we're looking at 2,400 units currently in construction now. So that's a big part in multifamily. So your types of commercial leases we typically see, right? You have your gross lease or your all-in full service lease. Basically what that is you have the tenant pay their monthly rent and the landlord covers everything. They cover your rent, taxes, utility, maintenance fees, etc. right? So typically you see that a lot in the office space, the medical space, but you can see that also in the industrial warehouse space. But we also see net leases. So that'd be single net, double net, or triple net. But for the sake of simplicity, 99% of the leases we see are going to be triple net leases. And what that is basically simplified, the tenant pays everything. So they pay base rent and they also pay operating expenses, utilities, maintenance, property tax, insurance, property management. Then lastly, there's percentage rent, which isn't all too common, but that's where you'd find a big box store. Once again, let's say Best Buy, for example, they would pay a base rent and then they would actually give a landlord a portion of their profits per month. So this is a cool chart. You can kind of see what the tenant pays versus what the landlord will pay. So looking at the top one, gross, that's, like I said, the tenant basically pays rent and utilities and the landlord covers everything else, which is, in a perfect world, as a tenant, that's exactly what you would want, right? Now on the flip side of that, where you would say the landlord has it made would be on a triple net lease, where the tenant pays basically everything and the landlords really will cover basic building maintenance. And lastly, at the very bottom, the percentage lease, where, as I just stated, the tenant pays rent, utilities, and a percentage of the sales to the landlord. And that sometimes the landlord in that will pay some operating costs. Now, as much as I think leasing is really the way to go over purchasing most times, there are still some struggles with it. So knowing, hey, who pays for repairs? Is it the tenant? Is it the landlord? Renewals, am I able to renew? Getting terminated on the lease, dealing with the city with zoning, is my use that I'm wanting to use at a location, is that allowed by the city? And going into that with environmental hazards and too much noise. Also deposits, like how much do we put in? Am I going to get that back? Getting evicted, maybe something didn't go so right, or remedy, maybe having to go to court with the landlord, or maybe there's issues with complaining adjacent tenants. So there can be issues. But lastly, you know, leasing versus purchasing. Why through my experience and our experience, we think leasing is most of the time the way to go versus purchasing is because it's far less expensive. I mean, you're talking 2-3 months of a deposit to lease versus at least having 20% of a down payment to purchase a building, which adds up very quickly. Leasing, you're not tied down any longer than your lease terms. If you do 3 to 5 years, you can get up and walk away, to be quite honest. And that falls into the next section. Look, you're basically dipping your toes in the sand when leasing to see, testing the market. It's a great way to do that. And if you like where you're at, well, you can stay longer terms, you can expand. And as that's kind of flowing into an option to renew. Option to renew, as we say, it's a godsend, because if you get your lease terms, you see that you like being there, let's say on average 3 to 5 years, and you have an option that you originally agreed to at the very beginning of the lease agreement. Hey, you can stay an additional 2-3 times, and we have your, as long as it's a fair market rate and you're paying X amount of percentage increases going with the cost index each year, it really puts the tenant in a good position, knowing what is in hold for the future. And then finally is your lease to own. And that's allowing the tenant to purchase the property before the agreed end of the terms. And that can be a win-win for a tenant, because if they want to purchase it, they have an option to do it, or they can walk away. Now, finally, I'm going to hand it back over to Lisa, who's going to sum up the presentation for us.
刚才呢，我们给大家介绍了凤凰城的这个租赁市场，以及呢在做租赁时候的一些细节。我们很期待以后呢跟大家有合作的机会。那我们的使命呢是帮助客户找到你心满意足的商业地产。我们呢会提供最高质量的服务，把客户的利益放在第一位。用我们的知识和技能来给大家谈判，拿到最好的这个商业地产。我们的价值观呢是强调 integrity， 这是我们要有正直的品格 ；honesty， 我们要诚实 ；dedication， 我们非常敬业 ；knowledge， 我们要有足够的知识 ；professionalism， 我们是有职业性 ；passion， 我们要有热情 ；respect， 我们要尊重客户的意见。那这边呢有我们的联系方式，如果有问题可以打电话、email 或联系我们。谢谢大家。
Thank you, Lisa and Chris. Thank you for your valuable time and your knowledge to share with us. I think the people from outside of Phoenix, especially from Taiwan, they need like an agent like you. It's very professional, and you have a bilingual capability to communicate very well. So we will send you a video on our website and share to the company and the investor from Taiwan. Thank you for your time. I think today it's only basic introduction about the opportunity in Phoenix. Hope in the future you can provide the more detail about some kind of property is available in the market to share with our investor from outside of the Phoenix, especially from Taiwan. Thank you for your time. Bye. Thank you.
Bye.